All right, hello, this is Devani Alderson, and that is Rob, and this is week 9 of Social Leverage, and today we're going to be talking about email marketing for business owners and the pros of the email marketing, why you should consider having an email list, and all that fun stuff. So let's kick it off.
Welcome, everyone. It's nice that when you get an email, and it's addressed to you and it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. But what do you do when you get one that says, free stuff or buy me or, something that you've never heard of from, and I get a lot too. And typically I get probably 200 to 300 that go through my filters that I end up having to go through and delete. So How do you get your emails, one, not to get deleted, and two, to get actually read and open? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, right. Totally.
So if you want to send out great emails, you need to stick around and listen.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if anybody here is listening, whether live or to the replay, we're going to briefly cover what email marketing is. I mean, essentially, it's sending email, but in mass to a list of people, a group of people who are interested in what you have to say about a topic. So whether you're a business consultant, a health coach, an artist, whoever you are, you want to get your work to people who are interested in it by them opting into a value content and then you continuing to follow up with value, whether it's in the form of new art or tips, advice, things, stories that will help your audience. And so that's basically what email marketing is. And essentially it's another layer of social media, given that it is a social medium, but it's more private in that people have to ask for it. So that's basically what email marketing
and with the growth of social media, people have asked me, why should I continue my emails when people can just find me on social media? Mm-hmm. And I tell them, well, it's two different animals, and not just because you post something on social media doesn't mean that someone's actually going to see it.
Absolutely.
So it's always good, like for me, I'll do a recap on Friday, where I've taken some of my posts from my various social channels and I share them back into my email so people can, if they missed me on social media, they can now catch the recap, the replay, and it gives people an idea of what they've missed, and people seem to like that because now, those who aren't on my like Instagram or Pinterest or Snapchat have a reason to go there and see what I'm doing, but they're still going to get that update every Friday.
Yeah. And another way to use it is sharing stories that you might not want to share to your Facebook, whether it's a page or a group, but you want to sort of honor the list that you're creating via email. And you say, hey guys, thank you so much for being on your email list. I want to share a story with you about something that I don't typically talk about publicly. So you're getting a sort of peeled back behind the scene layer so your audience is getting that from you, like this peeled back layer of who you are in a story. And it engages them and it provides valuable content that will help them sort of recognize that you're not there to just sell them every time they open your email, because nobody likes getting an email that says, hey, buy my stuff all the time. But if you can provide lots of value, lots of insights, lots of tips and stories and engage somebody, then when you do hit them with, hey, I have something for you to pay into, they'll be much more likely to want to support you that way.
I find that I get a better response when I share the complete story on my email instead of just 2 or 3 paragraphs and then click here to continue, because people will read the first 3 paragraphs and they will never click. And then I'll respond, hey, I saw that you looked at my email, but you didn't click. Nobody wants to click. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep the whole story in the email. They can read it. And then I'll have a call to action at the very bottom, maybe in a PS.
Yeah. And learn to be concise, the thing about email marketing is, like Rob said, it's a lot better if you can put the whole piece of content, whatever it is, into your email. But nobody wants to read, if somebody opens your email and sees like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, nobody wants to read that. You don't want to read a book when you open your email. So keep it short, learn how to say a lot in a few words, and then when you're done with that, if they found it useful, then either have a link for them to opt into a new piece of content, a group where they can ask you questions, or even, hey, if you enjoyed that story, here's the link for you to share it in case your friends find it useful. And that's where you can then link to your blog that they can share on their Twitter, on their Facebook, wherever.
And just because social media is out there doesn't mean that you can't continue to email people, because I've found that because of, I use Constant Contact, and Constant Contact actually has the ability, and I'm sure some of the other ones do too, so that when people read the email, they can click it to share that email that I sent to them on Facebook or Twitter, which, opens up your opt-in subscriber list to new people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And which is great because, if you're saying, hey, you know what, I value you as a person, please read this, tell me what you think, or even if you're running a survey, whatever you want to do, if you get people to share it, that's how you're going to grow your list.
And it's almost like getting a referral, when somebody who's on your list then says, hey guys, I read this awesome piece of content from Rob, you should really subscribe to his list. It's like they're telling their friends who might not trust you right off the bat to give an email, but if they're like, oh, Devani, I'm friends with her and she shared Rob's piece of content and she said he's, a great storyteller and he shares great content, so I'm going to go now opt in and see what this guy's all about. And that adds extra weight for you because it's almost like a testimonial. And so email and social media play very well together in terms of how you add content in different ways.
One of the biggest, I guess, things that upset me when I first started doing email marketing is people taking themselves off the list, unsubscribing. And I would feel, upset, frustrated that maybe my email didn't get, that maybe it offended them in some way.
Yeah.
But now I welcome them actually unsubscribing because I don't want people on my list that really don't want to hear my message. I want people on the list that, want to hear from me, are excited to hear from me and respond back. Hey, Rob, I found this piece to be the very best.
Right.
Or, hey, I noticed that, in this piece, it probably could have been written a little differently. Hey, that's okay. But, I want people on my list that are actually going to be engaging. And those that, I actually had one that followed me for about 6 years before, an email triggered them to remove me.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, you've been around for 6 years. How come you, left? Oh, I'm unsubscribing from everybody. They were just so tired of emails. And I get that. I get that from people, and I understand that, because maybe you don't want to get a lot of emails. You don't want to send out emails. But honestly, if you're not sending out emails coupled with your social media and everything else that you're doing yourself an injustice.
Yeah, which leads to a good point. How often should you email? And the answer is going to be different for everyone. What Rob was talking about is a really good point in terms of the unsubscribes. And I think everybody who starts email marketing hits that wall of somebody unsubscribes. And it's like the most painful thing to go through because you're like, oh my God, I don't want to offend anyone. I want to speak to everyone. And you just have to realize your target avatar enough to be like, it's okay. This person maybe not ready for this message. Maybe they were having a bad day. And so I was the person they targeted. Maybe this just wasn't the piece of value for them. And that's fine. And you tend to get over that, that pretty quickly when you start growing your list more of relevant people and it self-weeds itself. But Another good point is how often should you email? A lot of people email things daily. Some people do twice a week. I tend to do 2 to 3 times a week. Rob does a recap each week. So when you first start, I would say get on a regular schedule of once to twice a week, because you're going to find that you have to create content and you need to find a really good rhythm for you. And whether it's a Monday and Friday email, whether it's a Tuesday, Thursday email, whatever it is for you, just get in the habit of doing it once or twice a week. And that trains you, that trains your audience to expect something. And then from there, you can, once you start growing a base of readers, you can start asking them like, hey guys, when do you want to open these? And they will tell you, they'll be like, I love getting email, but I get so much email, and honestly, just once a week is fine. Like, I don't want to hear more than once a week. And I know Michael Hyatt used to send an email every single day, and when he sent a survey out, his users were just like, man, 2 or 3 times is enough. I really don't want, like, I love you and I love your content, but I don't have the kind of time to read your blog post in an email every single day, which ended up creating a lot less work for him. So start small, and you can always add up, you can always grow, you can always add to that, but you just want to launch your email list, create valuable content, and do it in a way that you won't burn out from doing.
Right. And the thing is once you become burned out, it's hard to get back into that rhythm to start emailing again. And, I've been with Constant Contact for, 6-7 years. Before that, I was with another outfit, and I had let my subscriber list go. And it was probably 3 or 4 months till I got back to emailing more frequently. The problem with that scenario is that people have not heard from you in such a long time that by the time you start to email them, they think it's spam and they want to get off the list. Or they say, hey, you know what, where have you been for these, all these months? I've been looking for your information. Did you just give up? Don't you care about us? And they unsubscribe. So, be consistent at least once a week. Let people know that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it more frequently, great. But if you're going to do it more frequently, then you're going to have a plan of action, for the content that you're going to share.
Absolutely.
And putting everything that you do on social media sounds great, but you need to have some reserve left over for when you're emailing your customers.
Mm-hmm. Because treat your email, here's the thing with email that's not true for social media. When you have an email list, you own that information. You don't necessarily own the relationships you create on social media. In a heartbeat, someone can decide, hey, I don't like your content, I'm going to unfollow you or unfriend you or whatever. I'm going to block you because you posted some politically charged post that I just wildly disagree with and I don't like you anymore. Whatever it is, people can remove themselves. A platform can go defunct. That happens all the time with smaller social media outlets. It could happen with Facebook. It's not a wild possibility in the future. But with the email list, you own those addresses. So no matter what system you decide to migrate and switch to, they essentially become your people. And that's a great way to reach out to them. But it's also a privilege and responsibility for you to show up consistently, whether it's once a week or every day, and really provide value. And what will help is creating content calendars around topics, whether it's a daily theme, a weekly theme, whatever it is. Have a calendar of content that you can pull from regularly and quickly create content, value content from that.
And don't be like these guys that spam you. And, I notice I get a lot from LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is probably one of the only social networks that will allow you to download your client base complete with emails. Mm-hmm. So if I get a friend request on LinkedIn and 5 minutes later they're emailing me, then I know that, one, I didn't opt into their email list. They just spam me.
Right.
The problem with spam is that if you're not opting into an email list, or your client is not opting into yours, under the Can Spam Act, there is no relationship there. You are just basically trying to, add people to your list to get your marketing message out there. You have no relationship with them, or maybe you had a relationship with them, in times of past, but you haven't built that relationship up, recently,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just adding people, and that can get you into trouble.
Absolutely.
And, I know some countries will actually fine you faster than the United States does.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's just bad form. You wouldn't want somebody taking your email address or postal address and then constantly selling you stuff when you don't know them. Why would you buy from somebody you don't know? Like, why would you hire Rob and I if we were to steal your email and then just be like, hey, we do marketing, we help you with marketing, buy our course, buy our product, whatever it is. You don't buy from people who do that. You buy from people who help you. And people who help you are there. They're not hunting you out in that kind of way. They're just providing value, and you find it and you enjoy it. So be that person that provides value.
What I want to tell you, and this may sound like it's common sense, but actually pick a provider. Pick an email provider to go through and scrub your list, to send out your emails. Because I still get, and I've had email for 20 years, I still get somebody that's putting me down in the CC with 400 other people. And now I have access to all these other, emails or addresses that come through. And it's like, one, I didn't ask for your email. Two, I don't want to be included with 400 other people and that I can actually see, because it's a privacy concern.
And they have access to your information now, those 400 people.
So, if you don't want to spend $20 a month with Constant Contact or some of these other services, go to MailChimp. Go to some of these free ones until you've built up your list and you can get a hang of what you're doing using email marketing.
Yeah, I recommend.
Then as you graduate into, higher lists, you can try the Infusionsoft or the Entreport type of email marketing. But there you're getting into bigger dollars, and it may not make sense right away to start with those.
Yeah, and I highly recommend MailChimp. In fact, I know people who have huge lists, like hundred thousands of email type huge lists that switch from Infusionsoft to MailChimp because of its simplicity. So I am a huge fan of that, and you can start for free. And I recommend investing the $10 a month for the automation, because that just makes your life so much easier. And so if you're going to do that, definitely start with MailChimp for sure. It's one of the best free ones that I've used out there. But if you need to do a lot of campaigns and build a lot of funnels and all that, I know Active Campaign is a good resource, and I think they start at like $9 a month or something. So it's not expensive these days to start an email list at all. You just need to make up your mind that you're going to do it. You need to get consistent and have a plan, and you just need to show up. Like all of these things we're talking about, whether it's social media, blogging, you just need to make up your mind and show up and do it and provide the value.
Now let's talk about templates inside an email. I mean, should they use HTML or should they use, text?
So my personal preference is do what's authentic to you. I have clients who they don't need the photos, they don't need the branding, they just want to do straight text email. And that's cool. They get great open rates, they get great responses, they're great storytellers, so it doesn't matter if there's branding or not. Personally, I like the flair of design. I enjoy minimal design. And so I like having, a couple images to make it look clean. So really just do what's comfortable for you. Whatever that is, whatever fits your style and personality that you want to project to the world that's authentic to you, do that. And you'll always get the best results.
But try to make it clean and not boxy looking.
Yes.
Some of the old templates were very boxy, very, very, the colors just didn't go to what they were, I've seen some really ugly emails, and maybe ugly sells sometimes, but not on an email.
Yeah, and the thing to keep in mind is simplicity. So do what is simple. And also, a lot of those boxy emails tend to be like paragraph thick text as well. And if you think about the reader and the time we're living in, where it's a very scan read society right now, especially if your demographic is millennials, they don't have time to read paragraphs. They see a paragraph and they're like, I'm out of here, man. I can't read this. This is crazy insane. And so make it think about tweets. The reason Twitter's so cool is you have 140 characters. Somebody can quickly glance at it and get the gist of what you're saying. So in your emails, think about that. Like if it's a big, huge paragraph or big, huge chunk of text, see how you can shorten it and still come across with what you need to say.
Well, the nice thing about some of the new email platforms is they're versatile. So you can incorporate not only text, but you can incorporate video or audio files.
Yeah.
I mean, I get one from Darren Harding, and sometimes it's just an audio file. Play this and learn this, or watch this video for 3 minutes or whatever it is. And he sends them out Monday through Friday, not on the weekends, just Monday through Friday. And it's just, it captures your attention just for a few short minutes and gives you something to think about.
And it's awesome. It's so cool because it's just like a morning motivation type email. It's the Darren Daily series, right? Yeah, I signed up for that too. And it's just like, it takes you like 5 minutes max to read that or listen to the email. And it gets you started for your day. And that's the kind of person that he wants to reach out to, the type of person who's looking for that morning kickstart to their day and then moving on. So it's the quick consumable content that's really, really popular. So think about how you can do those bite-sized chunks of content. And it's also easier to create, in batches. So you could spend, a Friday afternoon or a Saturday morning or Sunday, creating your week of content and be done and just get that scheduled,
and when we talked about long emails, how about short emails? I mean, I've gotten emails where they're, probably less than 20 words. And that was it. And it compelled you to take some action.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm preparing for this, massive email because I'm on this guy's list and all of a sudden it's just 20 words. I'm like, is that it? Where's the rest of it? But it was very short. It was concise. It was to the point. And the guy was just wishing everybody, good fortune. And he said that was his best email ever. Yeah.
It's amazing how much you can impact with short content. I have found that the more concise and less rambly I am in my emails, the more opens I get and the more reads I get and the more people actually click through to whatever I'm saying or telling them to do, whatever action I'm asking them to take, which typically for me is sending them to a blog post or something. And so play around, test around, but once you find something that people really enjoy, try to create your content around that because that's what they're asking for. That's what they're saying, hey, this is awesome, do this more.
And not every email you send out needs to have a call to action. It needs to get them to take action of some sort. It can just be that you're thinking of them, that you're wishing them a good day, or you're I don't know, some event that's coming up that maybe you hope that you're going to see them there.
Yeah.
So there are so many things that you can put in an email, but on your content calendar, schedule it out. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about these couple days. This is what, and try to mix it up so that maybe one day it's a long email, then a short email, then maybe a video, then an audio file, or maybe a free report of some sort.
Absolutely.
But if they start to look the same every single week, people are going to unsubscribe.
Yeah, be consistent about your message, but mix up the medium for sure. And I think one email, what I started doing a couple weeks ago was on Friday, like midday, mid-afternoon, I would just, like, all I would send out all day is like just an image of my coffee mug and just a quote and be like, you know what, have a happy weekend. Just, you know, have a great day, have a good weekend, you know, enjoy, hope the weather's great, and then just a coffee mug and no link to the website, nothing, just like a, hey, you know, it's sort of like one of those things where you're also building a relationship with somebody and you're talking, because even when somebody subscribes to a mailing list and they know that they're getting an email that, you know, hundreds of other people are getting, you are still talking to one person. It's going to one inbox at a time. And so you're building that relationship and you're just saying, hey, you know, whoever you are, wherever you are, have a great day. And those small acts of caring in business means so much to people when you could have just sent this big copy ad, you know. So don't discount those little moments.
And make sure that each email is customized. It has the person's name that you're sending the email to. So it's, you know, hey, Mark, you know, how's your day going? Hey, I just wanted to give you the news of whatever, you know, and you can actually put their name in a couple spots on your email, because, you know, I respond better when I see my name actually used in an email multiple times. You know, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just, you know, narcissistic that way, and I just like my name.
Well, people like, it's been scientifically proven, the best sound and thing that people see is their name. So definitely, for sure. That's one thing I need to remember to do. That's actually one thing I don't do very well, is I just leave it blank. I'm just like, hey, you know, what's up? What's going on? Because I don't know. Sometimes it just, to me, it's sometimes felt obviously marketed when I see my name. But I'm just like, oh, okay. You customized it, right? But yeah, I need to do some testing on my end too to see if I get actual better open rates when I see when I use the people's names. And every email system, if you go into their tutorial training system, every email system has a specific code that you can use for inserting the first name.
You know, and another thing that I think we should talk about is, you know, email headlines, because, you know, there's a lot of people that they'll just put, you know, like the title of our show, and maybe it says Social Leverage Episode 8. Well, what does that mean? What am I going to learn? So instead of saying, you know, Social Leverage Episode 8, we'll say, you know, 8 things you're going to learn about email marketing today.
I think I think the headline I used for the one I sent out like an hour or so ago was something like, should you even bother with email marketing? Question. That was it. I'm pretty sure that's word for word what the title was. And it's sort of like, how would you interact with somebody? Like, if I were to email you, Rob, like just as an individual, me emailing you, you wouldn't have like, join my show, join my talk show now. You know, you'd be like, hey, Rob, I'm going to be talking about email marketing. You interested? Or, you know, something that's conversational. Again, getting back to the point, this is a conversation with somebody. It's sort of like marketing is not about sounding like you're marketing. It's about sounding like you're having a conversation.
Right. And even some email programs will allow you to put their name in the email title.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's, you know, hey, Devani, join the show, you know, or, you know, whatever. And it gets people, the open rates actually will increase because you're using someone's name, their proper name, you know, in the title or the conversation that you're having in the email.
Yeah, and brainstorm several titles, guys. Like, go through and even like, you could even try on Twitter using the 100-character limit max and just brainstorm a couple quick snazzy sounding titles that sound cool. Think about a friend that you might want to personally email and think, you know, if I was just emailing this friend alone, what would I tell them? You know, how would I open this? I think we tend to overcomplicate it and we're like, oh my God, what if this doesn't get opens? Don't worry about that. Worry about being you. That will get opens, and it might, you know, if the first send out might be 5 people open it. That's okay. That's 5 people who might not have opened anything at all. So once you start emailing more, you'll start developing your voice and people will start recognizing that. And the most important thing, as amazing as metrics are for tracking, is be real. That doesn't mean you have to tell everyone everything. It just means what you do tell them, be real about it.
Right. And you know, it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. You know, the same information that you may be putting down in your blog or your social media can be sent to your email list. It's just a little different of a format, and you'll want to customize it, you know, with their name. And, you know, and you may want to put some other features in it to get them to open it, because those are things that you can't do on social media. So, you know, email is still, you know, in my point, your first line of defense in trying to get your marketing message out there or building trust with somebody.
Absolutely.
Social media is kind of a byproduct of email, because email has been around for 20 some years. Social media has only been around for maybe 8 or 9 at the most. So, you know, always try to get people's email address.
Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier in the show, it's the email. You own email addresses. You don't own someone's social, because in an instant they can unfollow you. You know, and you could say whatever wrong thing, whatever bad opinion. We've all had that happen. We've all unfollowed people. We've all deleted people. We've had that happen. And with email, they're opting in for your thoughts. So respect that and show up with your thoughts.
So anybody have any questions? I see we have a bunch of people on, and one person says, I focus group titles for post articles. Yeah, that's great. You know, I think that sometimes we get hung up on titles, and sometimes we spend more time trying to come up with a snazzy headline than we do writing the email content.
That's so true. And you know what's crazy about that? Most of the time, I get more opens when I just kind of wing it. And then I slave over a title, and like maybe 5 people open it, or 10 people, or 20. But then I just quickly write something in like 30 seconds and everyone opens it. And so, yeah, listen up about the titles. Just relax. If you have to, write the body of the email, then come back and come up with a title that just encapsulates that. Ugh, can't say that word.
Try to stay away from words that are overused. And you know, even though you might have a free report, don't say free report in your email title, because it typically gets picked up by, you know, the Gmail spam filters or Yahoo or whoever you're using. And, you know, that email that you subscribe to is now in junk mail.
Yes, just avoid using the word free in a title, caps or not. It's one of those words that at this point, like, it used to work really well, but now people have caught on to spammers using it. So it's like a spam buzzword. So definitely avoid that word. Instead, what I think about is, what's a pain point or a question that people on my list are wondering? So like for this, you know, should I bother using email marketing? Well, I know that everyone on my email list either regularly sends out emails, or I know that they want to start one and they're just not sure where to start or if they even should start. So I know that title will get them to open, because it's asking a question that they're asking. Or Rob, do you have any examples of headlines that have gotten you opens?
No, I don't. In fact, I sent one out. Let me quick scan here. I know that, you know, when I keep the headline simple, I get more open rates. You know, when, you know, like I was actually writing an article, an email to go out today, and it was called Grumpy Marketing. And, you know, I was going to make the title longer, and I may still, but here's the thing is that when people look at grumpy marketing, they're going to be more inclined to open it than say, you know, hey, you know, what caused me to, you know, write this article about grumpy marketing? You know, nobody's going to write it. Open
or like 5 tips to be a positive marketer.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, if you can put a spin on what you're doing and, you know, put something in front of, you know, maybe a negative in front of a positive, people are going, huh, what? And, you know, it kind of gets them to take a second look and open it. Now, what I can tell you is that based on the science of some of these email programs, they actually will tell you the best time to send out your email.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
Constant Contact will tell me that on Mondays at 6 o'clock in the morning is the best time to send out emails. You know, it's my best open rate. It's my best, people tend, because they're just getting up, they're getting ready for work. They want to just glance at their emails and look to see what's going on.
Yeah. And I know MailChimp, there's an option to send, and that when you schedule it or send it out, there's also a check feature where it says something like send at optimal time. Mm-hmm. And it will send the email at the optimal time that person opens email. So definitely test that out. I tested that out a couple times. I don't use it every time. Sometimes I need something to just go out when I finish writing it, but it's definitely a cool feature. So yeah, play with those.
But I have noticed that, when I open up my emails, or when I open up my email program, and I go to check my emails, a lot of the emails that I get are dated like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess a lot of marketers have figured out that people are opening, these emails, or they're looking at these emails first thing in the morning. So, look at your demographic. Look at where people are coming from. If, your demographic is mostly, your local town that subscribes because you have a service-based industry, then gear it to the times that, are centered around that local community. Now,
yeah.
If you're operating on a global scale where, too many people are in separate time zones, that may be a crapshoot and you're just going to have to guess.
Mm-hmm.
But what I typically do is I gauge it to what my biggest audience is or where. So, if Tuesday night at 9 o'clock is my best open rate, that's when I'm going to send my email out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've noticed that the later I send an email out, the better opens it gets. So like I sent last night, I think I sent one out on Monday night at like 10:30 p.m. It got great open rates. Fantastic. But most of my lists are like entrepreneurs who, their time to check things isn't during the day. It's either early in the morning or late at night when, they have a minute,
Mm-hmm.
because either their day job during the day, during the bulk day hours, and then hustling at night. And their prime time is sort of when everybody else is focused on like, I'm going to go relax or I'm going to watch TV. And so you sort of hack those times based on your demographic. For sure. Oh, so there's someone on this call who I know. It's Demikos. Hope I said your name right. I see it written. I hope I said it right. I slaughter names a lot. Sorry. He's a coach on fear, and he sends out really good emails. So you should follow him. So yeah, I thought I'd shout you out because I know you.
Awesome.
But yeah, emailing, the thing about emailing is it's a conversation, and it should be a deeper level of conversation than your social media. So your social media gets people interested. It sort of whets their appetite. And then your email should be where you send a bulk of your value, where people get a first look into what you're going to talk about. Promotions on content, like, thank you so much for reading this. Because of that, I'm taking, 25% off the course I'm launching to you guys before it goes out to everybody else. So yeah, people in your email list should get things first and discounted. And you don't always have to discount things, but when you do run a discount, make sure it's to your email list first.
Yeah, I always try to give priority to my email list. And the problem here is that we have become so accustomed to social media, and being that we don't have to take our phones and whip up a template and try to get an email out, that we tend to give our message priority to our social media and not to our email list. So what I do is I create a whole bunch of email templates that are ready to go, and all I have to do is change the date, change the title, and spend a couple minutes on content. And I can send them out no matter where I am.
Yeah.
So if you want to do the same, create, a bunch of templates that are already ready to go. And then all you have to do is fill in the information. And so maybe you're at the store, maybe you're, at the pool with your kids and not doing anything, or like for me, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm at karate with my sons. I'll just send an email out, and you're still getting your thoughts out there, and it's still looking the way it's supposed to look. But you don't have to spend, time to redo that template constantly.
Yep.
Get it ready.
Yeah, send it out there. The goal, like Seth Godin talks about, is ship it. So don't delay don't procrastinate so much that you never send anything out. But at the same time, still be cognizant that you need to be providing value. So don't provide junk, obviously. I think that is sometimes that gets lost in translation with the nice slogan of ship it is, it can look like whatever and I should just send it out. But focus on value, answer people's questions. Number one way to provide value is answer the questions that people ask you, because that's market data and that's them telling you, hey, I need this. And so do that, provide the value, show up, be consistent, and ship it. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. That's just another form of fear. So, and it's scary if you're just starting this, or if you've tried it before and gave up because it was unsuccessful. It's scary. I get it. Rob and I don't like unsubscribes any more than anybody else, but that's just a reality of doing this. That's the reality of business. People will reject you. They will unfollow you. They might not like what you have to say, but you can't let the people who don't like you stop from reaching the people who do need your help.
And if your spelling isn't that great and people like to correct everything that you say, make a video. Put the video in your email. Although my friend of mine, he sent out an email and I could tell that it was late at night and he was in a hurry because there must have been about 15 words that were spelled wrong. But at the very bottom of his email, he said, if you're a grammar Nazi, don't call me. And the funny thing was, is that email got him about $4,000 worth of much needed work, that weekend. And it didn't matter if the words were spelled wrong or not. What it ended up doing was the exact thing he wanted it to do, was make him money. Exactly. And those people that are that, anal about your spelling don't need to always be on your list.
Yeah.
They need to accept you as who you are. And that was the perfect way for him to get people that really didn't want to be there off his list.
Now, at the same time, don't do that on purpose just to yank people's chain.
Right.
Don't go misspelling everything, because eventually, if you do it too much,
right,
it becomes obvious. Sort of like, those tactics where they'll say, oops, the link is broken. At this point, like the first time somebody does that, I'll forgive them. But if it happens more than one time, it's like, man, in fact, when it first started happening prevalently, I went back to the original email. The link wasn't broken. There was no misspelling. None of that. So don't use these as tactics. Be authentic. We all like to fantasize and think about, what if I did this to get more opens? And it's cool to think about. It's a nice chuckle, but don't do that. That's not ethical.
And don't copy someone else's email to use as your own, because I have seen so many emails. I mean, and Devani said, that oops link thing, I've seen it multiple times.
It doesn't work anymore, guys.
I've seen marketers copy the same email over and over again. And for these MLMers, they'll use the same template for affiliate marketing. They'll use the same email, and it's like, people, no, because there are so many. There might be millions of people on this earth, but chances are you are going to share, your email with somebody else who's getting, the exact same message. And they're going to say, well, wait a minute. Did Rob use it first, or did Doug, or did this guy, or did...
Yeah.
And after a while, they're going to delete themselves from all your lists because, they're going to think that you just copy each other.
That's a really good point. When
be
you
authentic.
When you start affiliate marketing with and aligning yourself with other brands, no matter what industry you're in. And they said typically what happens when you start aligning yourself and start affiliate marketing with others is they will send out swipe copy, which is basically copy that you can insert into your email, into your social media, and it makes it really easy for you to share without taking too much time for you to write up a campaign and all that stuff that takes a lot of time. Well, the problem with that is they're sending that swipe copy to at least 10 or 20 other people. And if you're in the same industry, there is a very big chance that several people are on several of those folks' lists because it's the same industry. And typically you can only be on like so many people's lists before you start seeing similarities like Rob was mentioning. And so when you get swipe copy, what I do when that happens is I rewrite it and I edit it and I add my own story and make it relevant to people. And I just use the swipe as sort of the outline. Like, this is what the person I'm affiliating wants to come across, but they're writing it based on their audience and their people. And my audience and my people aren't going to respond to this. They're going to see straight through the fact that this is just swipe copy because my audience knows how I talk. They know how I write. And so you edit it to fit your style. Same with the tweets, swipe tweets or swipe Facebook posts. People know how you talk. You know, you can, like, on my list, I follow pretty much everybody on my email list on some form of social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, wherever it is, LinkedIn, and I know how you guys talk. So if I see swipe copy from your emails, I'm going to see right through that and be like, okay, well, this isn't relevant. You didn't even bother making this relevant for me. So definitely don't do that.
So the Beatles, huh?
What?
Your shirt.
Oh, yeah. It's Beatles Day.
Right. And see, trivia, when you add that to your email, is great. It's just same thing that you're going to add to social media.
But
sometimes
really, Rob,
trivia.
He just does it to confuse me.
I do. I try to, confuse her so she doesn't know what she's talking about. But, sometimes I'll share tidbits of trivia on my email just to get people to, open up, to engage in that conversation. Because the problem that most people think is that email is a one-way conversation. You're sending information to somebody, and if they don't respond, it becomes one way. Mm-hmm. The problem, here's the thing, is that not everybody is going to, they may open your email today, but they may not read it, for a few days.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I do a lot. I save a lot. Like, I'll open it, but then I'll just open it so I can flag it to read it.
Right. So on major holidays, like, here in the United States, we could have Flag Day. Flag Day is not major, but we got Christmas,
July,
Easter.
Yeah.
But even the oddball holidays like Groundhog Day and Left-Handers Day and whatever day. Yeah, Ice Cream Day. But those are ways that you can send emails out to people to say, hey, you know what? Today is President's Day. Today is, Beatles Day. Today, whatever day it is, and you tell them a story. How today is relevant to whatever title that you're putting in your email, and you get them to engage in the conversation. You don't have to sell them anything if you don't want to. You could say, hey, we're doing 20% off today. That's fine. That's great. But you don't want to make every email a salesy pitch.
Yeah, that gets tiring. You don't like seeing that from people. We engage with people because we like the stories they tell. So tell cool stories. It's really that simple, right?
Yeah, and if you don't have any cool stories, for your own life, then share someone else's cool story. Because not everybody is adventurous. Not everybody has a story to tell. No, yes, they do. Everybody has a story.
Everybody might not be ready to tell their story. Everybody might need help sharing it in a way that is interesting, but I think everybody has a good story to tell. That's a good topic to talk about, because a lot of people actually, as simple as storytelling is for some of us, because we're just in the industry and that's what we do, is we try to find the story. Sit down if you have trouble with this and think about pain points in your life, triggers in your life where you had to make a decision or a tough call or something good happened, something really positive happened because XYZ. And think about those moments, write those moments down. And maybe not all of them will be used in an email, but I'm sure some of them can be weaved into a story. Even the story of how you started your business. Most of us start a business because we're frustrated with something or we want to entertain people in some way. And so write those stories. And those will serve as great lessons, teaching points, and just cool things to share.
Well, I think we covered a lot today.
We did.
And we have a few minutes left. So if anybody's still on board, they want to, jump in the seat down below, that's great. We'll take your question and help you out. If not, we'll probably shut the call down in a few minutes. But I want to say thanks for everybody who came on board. This is episode 9. Yeah, it's just rolling along. And we're sharing a lot of information every single week. And we invite everyone to come join us over on our Facebook group, which is Facebook group Social Leverage, or is it Social Leverage Show?
The link is show. The name is just Social Leverage. Here's the link.
And there you can engage with us on a daily basis if you want to. And we're always going to share the episodes there as well. We'll have them on our websites and on YouTube so that people can find us. And every week we're going to share something different. We've covered Twitter, we've covered Snapchat, we've covered repurposing content. We've covered Facebook groups and Instagram. So, every week we're going to have something different. So, if there's a topic that you want to learn about, let us know. And, we'll probably end up covering it on one of these future episodes.
Yep. And that's a wrap, guys. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.